everyone, today we're going to watch. I built a PC portable, PS2 portable, PS2 portable, the PS2 Eclipse.
It's Eclipse,
which is called Ginger of Oz. Make different types of consoles that doesn't even exist in the world, but he made it out of himself. So in today's video, we are watching him making this PS2 portable. He's kind of an old guy, right?
Hi, I'm Ginger, and this is the PS2 Eclipse.
Eclipse.
Dude, I told you.
Not it's Eclipse. Great spin.
Oh yeah, actually agree on.
Oh my god.
That spin count.
But you can't be here yet. You need to head back to 2018 to see where this all began.
Okay.
This tale begins with a spur-of-the-moment purchase of a PS2 setup off of eBay. I was hot off the heels of my first portable Wii disaster, and was considering making the PS2 my next victim. I'd never owned or even played a PS2.
Never owned or played a PS2.
Dude,
I never
don't even
owned
own
or
a
played
PS2.
PS2 too. But I heard that it's legendary and it's the most sold console in the entire world.
200 million.
I
to be
assume.
Exact.
But it had a few games I was interested in. When the console
Mario.
arrived, I did a bit of research into the process, and then, like all good hobbyists, put the project on a shelf. For 3 years, before seeing it
3
again,
years,
and
my man.
deciding that I should really just do something with it.
People should go touch some.
Now that the
Really?
awkward guilt of an unfinished project has set in, the first step here is to get this PS2 motherboard shrunk down as much as possible. This means
You're really
violence,
good shrunk.
as this board isn't going to get any smaller without cutting parts of it
Imagine
off.
using a knife.
I would still like to keep this board alive though, so I need to figure out what's actually safe to cut. And just like in all things, the easiest way
Solving
to
a
figure something
time
out,
bomb be like.
just let someone smarter than you figure it out first. In this instance, that person is G-Man, a longtime portabilizer who back in 2017 declared a ruthless war against the secrets of the PS2, and came out of that conflict as the clear victor. From his efforts came the definitive PS2 trimming guide, a document which covers trim lines and wiring points on certain PS2 Slim models. So now that I'm armed with this knowledge, a PS2 motherboard, a Dremel, and the necessary safety equipment, it's
That actually could be harder than expected. Wait, is he wearing a virtual reality? Dude is sacrificing himself right now.
time to actually cut this big guy up. Now, I'm a pretty seasoned veteran of the console trimming sport.
And his
I've built
hand
50
is
portable
dead.
Wii's in just 2 years, and I've dominated the coming in second place category in many of the portable building contests I've entered. So trimming this? Piece of cake. Yeah, I botched the trim.
I'm gonna really disgust this thing. I thought he was gonna lose his hand, but he's gonna lose his trim. That's not what I expected.
This thing, and the board doesn't boot anymore.
Bruh. You're stupid.
Blood for the blood god. So back in I went with a new PS2 board.
For the murder of multiple innocent PS2 motherboards. Also for breaking the hearts of so many beautiful women. Bro, I got too many X's, I can't lie.
This time the cutting process went smoothly, leaving me with this board that still boots after being trimmed. With this success, it's time to begin work on the housing of the system. Even though the PS2 board is trimmed, it's still the largest thing I'll have to design around, so I picked a screen with similar dimensions to help decide the shape of the overall case. I actually started a design that uses this screen last year, so I tracked down those CAD files and decided to use them as a base point for
Wow,
this project.
it's like the... That blow is like the meme of the Super Mario Odyssey. Dude, the boy said, hey, how is Super Mario Odyssey good? And that meme looks at you and check this out. Nicely done.
From there, I've worked to select components that fit inside the rough shell and slowly fleshed out the inside, while doing periodic
friend.
test prints to make sure I'm still on the right track. Once
We'll
I had a
try.
design I was happy with, I fired up my printer and tried to do the final print.
It's really interesting. It looks like a Nintendo Switch and a Nintendo Wii. Also, no, I don't know. What do you guys think it looked like? It looks like a PS5 controller with the Wii U snapped together and turned into one. It's a portable, but also a PS5 feel, because you know one of those PS5 controllers, the sticks are in the middle, but the Switch controllers is on the left top and the right down. It's really, really similar.
But these grips on the back make it so I can't get a print that leaves both sides of this piece looking clean. Since my own printer isn't up to the task, I've gone ahead and ordered the back from a company with a fancy enough printer to do it justice. While working on the case, I also adapted some open source designs from G-Man into 5 custom circuit boards.
What am I looking
I'll
at?
break these down pretty quickly, as I understand that this part isn't super interesting for most people.
Yeah.
With time starting now. This board houses the PS2 controller emulator. This board has some controller buttons and all the necessary circuitry to handle converting the raw sound signals from the PS2 into audible sound through speakers or a headphone jack. These boards have a few more peripherals for the PS2 controller, a headphone jack, and extra buttons for controlling other assemblies in the portable, and this final board handles the storage for PS2 games as well as USB-C fast charging. And all of these boards are manufactured by PCBWay, who's been generous enough to be the sponsor of today's video. PCBWay is a great circuit board manufacturer.
Okay, we're just gonna.
Not this though. This is just the board from a PS2 memory card.
Yeah.
But it's an important memory card, as this is what allows the system to run games without the disk drive. On this memory card is a program called FreeMCBoot.
That makes so much sense. Their PlayStation 5 doesn't have an SD card, so there's no storage in it. So you gotta buy one to play one. Interesting.
Which allows homebrew programs to be run on a PS2, including ones that let you run games off of the USB drive rather than the disk drive. I've gotten a lot of what I'll call constructive feedback on my portables that run games from USB rather than the disk drive, so I'll quickly explain why I have to do this. The first reason is because this entire portable is smaller than a disk, let alone a disk drive, and I think I prefer to supersize my fast food orders rather than my portables. The second reason is that a disk drive uses up a lot of...
I took my words back. That thing was chunky as hell.
Like, as much power as a PS2 motherboard does on its own. The goal here is to make a system that's as small and efficient as possible, and a disk drive will do nothing but hold you up in those regards, which is why you won't find any modern portables that accommodate them. The last ingredient to this PS2 soup is the Ps2 PMS, a G-Man board I bought, which handles all of the voltage regulation and charging stuff needed for the system to run. I've got to let my soup simmer for a while, so I'll take this time while I wait to do a paint job. I've decided to paint it completely black, because I don't own any black portables, and I can only get these PS Vita buttons in black. In order to prep the case for painting, I'll first wet sand...
The PS5 controller is black, so is the buttons black? I forgot. Because there's actually some buttons that is red, green, yellow, blue. Okay, that's the right one. But I forgot the left one. The left, those front, left, right, down. I forgot if are they black or they just the same color as the right one.
the outside of the shell with rough sandpaper, and then move to smoother and smoother grits to make the finish as clean as possible.
Nice.
Once it's completely even, I'll hit it with a coat of primer, followed by a couple coats of metallic black paint, and finally, a smearing of clear coat to help keep the paint from fading away.
Oh my God.
With this color scheme in mind, I've decided to name the project the PS2 Eclipse, because that sounds edgy and cool, much like myself. So, with everything all laid out, I went ahead and proceeded with the final assembly. This process went perfectly. There were zero issues. I did not have to troubleshoot various dumb things for days. And at the end of all that not troubleshooting, I finally have a working system. It's time to close it up and show off what it can do.
Yay.
And who could have guessed? it plays PS2 games.
Oh,
Although,
nice.
it turns out there's no Mario games for the PS2. So,
Mario games? Is he about to throw it? He's about to throw his project. But yeah, does PS2 games have Mario games? I think you should mod it, bro. Okay, I'll see you soon, everybody. Nice episode.
Portable actually plays these PS2 games at full speed, because that's the whole point of using the original motherboard in here. There's no emulation here, only perfect compatibility and the screams of the damned.
Yeah.
I've started a playthrough of Kingdom Hearts on here, and this game sucks, but the portable is doing a great job of running it. The audio system in the portable is fantastic, with full digital audio, the 2 speakers on the front, and the headphone jack on the bottom. The bottom also has buttons for controlling the volume and the settings of the screen.
That's
Moving to the back of the portable, we've got 2 air vents to prevent it from melting into a pile of goo, as well as 2 thicker grips to help make the console more comfortable to hold.
Yay.
On the top, there's an LED to indicate the battery level of the system, as well as a USB-C port for charging and
I can't lie, but this console is like it made out of a cheap dollar shop. It's good, but the problem is the texture are kind of bit interesting. It's like a Nintendo Switch, but way more crusty looking. I have like a lot of these cheap dollar consoles actually looks like this. They run, but they didn't run well, except for this one. It actually has so many features. It's very good.
data transfer. By plugging the portable into my PC, I can use it as the world's most over-engineered USB drive. Or I can just add new games in Homebrew to the internal memory.
Nice.
There's a variety of Homebrew softwares I've been
That's how
experimenting
he
with,
transferred games.
including emulators for other consoles. So once I played through all 4,000 PS2 games, I can rest assured, knowing that the portable can still play Super Mario World. And lastly,
Bro, literally scream for Mario. He really likes Mario, can't lie.
the portable gets about 2.5 hours of battery life, which isn't anything crazy, but it's enough time to work
Like a
through most of the
Nintendo
bizarre plot
Switch
of
2.
Super Monkey Ball. Now, this all looks great, but is the project really perfect? Yes, you moron. Never speak to me again. But if there were a few things that could be critiqued,
At least
then
he-
I guess I would start with the
Ain't
loading time.
crashing out for you.
USB loading is the most convenient method because of how simple it is, literally just 4 wires. But it does come at the cost of slower load times and occasional
So it's not
jittery cuts.
perfect.
This is just because the
Dummy.
PS2 uses USB 1.1, which is a USB protocol that's older than I am. I'm not bothered too much, as I've never experienced the normal load times on most of these games, and I'm the
least
kind
on
of guy
one
to
of
skip
these.
any cutscene I can, but the slowdowns can be particularly brutal on some titles. An issue that's bugged me quite a bit more is the fact that the controller doesn't get recognized on quite a few games.
It's so
It's not a
slow.
permanent issue, as I'm sure someone will eventually take the time to figure out why this happens and release a fix for the
Don't
code.
stop working.
For now, though, if there are any of your favorite PS2 games that you haven't seen featured yet, it's probably because trying to play it resulted in a screen that looks like this. And one minor thing I'll address: the Switch joysticks, as they are notorious for drifting. I'm well aware of the issues that these sticks have, but I honestly have yet to wear out the sticks on any of my portables. And even if it happens,
It's really annoying, since these sticks from the Nintendo Switch is actually very annoying. It's stick drifting. You have to pay another $80-$90 on